Good evening. We're starting out with a public hearing. The purpose of the public hearing is to discuss proposed use of the Municipal Road Aid Program funding for 2018-19. Turn it over to Michael.
Council, you all should have the copy that I sent out. It's got the list together. I've broken down into three parts. We'll have a bid for asphalt paving, and then we've got some concrete work as well. There's a third category, which I'll get into more in my report, but it's the catch basin, the 5 catch basins that are broken that we've been discussing. We're not going to bid that out. That's a project that we're going to co-op with SD1 on, so I'll get more into that. But at this point, I'll open it up for you all. Any questions or comments and discussions for the all paving list.
Michael, I'll ask some questions. Where did the list come from?
It's a list that Rick and I just compiled through the year. So anytime we got spring paving or fall paving, so we get together, we look at what didn't get done in the previous run. So those are usually the first to go on, and then anything that's come up in between.
Okay.
I was trying to keep, I preface this, I'm trying to keep the total costs of these projects minus the catch basins at around $100,000. So that's.
Michael, I've asked you this question, but I want you to explain it. Will these catch basins you got here, will this fix all of them? Is this all of them in the city of Dayton is broke?
Those are all the ones that are broken to date, yes.
Please?
Yes, those are all the ones that are broken.
And my next question is, when will the work begin on all of this, but especially on the catch basins? Because to me, the catch basins is a safety hazard for the kids going back to school.
Pending the catch basin approval in my report, they'll start tomorrow.
Okay.
Like I saw Katie's coming in to do Route 8 potholes. I assume that includes Route 8 running through town, or nay or yay?
They didn't specify that. What we had been blasting them for the last several weeks and months was the portion between Main Street and the flood wall. Chief actually spoke to him, so maybe he can clarify.
Yeah, I was there. We did. I contacted them Friday. They didn't get a call back. Call back first thing Monday through dispatch, and I received a message that he did receive my message, and repairs will be done sometime this week. So I guess it's pending on the weather.
They indicated it was supposed to start yesterday, and they pushed it.
Specifically the 1100 block, 1000 block of 4th Street. Yeah, because they were out on Mary Ingles Highway further out by Aqua Ramp and all that, fixing some bad areas of Route 8. And I called Friday to say, hey, can you come in further to Mary Ingles, because we are Route 8, and fix what we need to fix. So it was verified today that they were going to, Monday, that they were going to get here sometime this week and try to fix that.
Okay, great. I've been reaching out to Senator Schroeder, Senator Keene, Representative Keene, District 6. All of them are saying they're on it. I'm trying my best of rattling some cages, see if we can get anywhere.
Well, I know that section is not part of this here. But on that note, as long as we're on it, that 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 block, everybody's saying it's the trucks coming through town. The trucks aren't causing that damage anywhere else in town. I really feel that part of the problem down in that area is tied into SD1. We always get the stormwater soaked in down there. We get the flooding down in that area. I'd like to see a concerted effort with administration and SD1 and Kentucky Transportation Cabinet to address all that down there, because fixing the pothole's not going to do it. That's just like a sponge underneath. It's it's probably on sand. The base is probably not right. There's got to be a long-term plan to fix that down there. And unless you fix the drainage issue, it's going to keep recurring.
They also, I know when they redid Route 8 as a whole, was it about 4 years ago or so? I was told, and we were talking about this yesterday, that in those 1,100 to 1,400 blocks that they used an experimental asphalt that had a little bit more of a kind of a rubber base in it. There's a rubber base version and there's a glass base version. And I was told it was a rubber base. I think that's also why you see that section's crumbling versus the main drags of the Route 8 are not. It could be a combination of both. The stormwater issues, and we're not going to be approving it for them.
Well, like I said, I think it needs to be a priority because people's cars are getting ruined. When the water's up, you can't see the potholes. And as I said, it's not had that same, the trucks have not had that same effect all the way through town, all the way through Bellevue. It's just that one area.
Right.
But back onto this topic here, Michael, you have on here concrete street on 2nd Avenue. Can you explain that?
Yep, down at the industrial park on 2nd Avenue where it comes up to Clark Street, on Clark Street up to Route 8. It's actually a concrete road.
Okay.
So that section, we've been kind of kicking the can on that one for a couple of years, but it's in pretty bad shape, so that's why we've got.
So you're talking about repouring it with concrete,
Yes.
not with asphalt overlay? Right. There's no plans to connect 2nd Avenue between McKinney and Berry. I think that needs to be put into the future plans because there's no reason for that 100 feet or so to be closed off, I don't think.
Well, we've talked about that recently too. I would assume if and when that site is developed, other than that part of it would be advantageous for them to want to do so. So we've had kind of an outside discussion about that, but because they haven't committed to any site plans or anything, they're just kind of, yeah, we'll talk about it at that point. But I would agree at some point it would be advantageous.
I do have 2 issues with the list here. Well, a couple actually. Number 1, most of them are south of 6th Avenue. I realize 10 streets in bad shape, it's impossible to plow, especially having to go uphill like they do. The Jamestown Park, you're talking about roughly, well, exactly 4,780 square feet. There's no park there. Why are we spending any money to put a parking pad in when there's nothing to do there? I would rather delay that part and substitute the alley, the 800 block alley between 6th and 7th, which is behind the VFW, which is mud and causing flooding. And I think there are 19 homes that could use off-street parking if that was paved. The 600 block alley between 6th and 7th, which is in very bad shape and is part of our central business district. And also the 100 block alley between 4th and 5th, which again is a dirt alley. A lot of homes down there with parking issues, not enough on-street parking. We've offered the $500 off-street parking grant. They can't exercise it because it's a mud alley. I would prefer to see those substituted for any work on Jamestown Pike Park until that park is usable.
Well, so to answer that first question about Jamestown Pike Park, we are hopeful that by the time the weather turns in the spring, that we'll be heading right into construction of that path. The reason that we're fast tracking that for a couple of reasons. One, once we get that in, they'll be easily able to tie the sidewalk through it and then out up towards Chateau, but also because the National Park Service wants to see some activity there since they've lifted that conversion. So what I have told them was, look, we're being held up on the state level with the designs. There's nothing we can do about that. But there is usable green space up there, so that was kind of my plea to them was, look, we can go ahead and put in a parking lot so we can start to become a destination place. Hopefully in the springtime we'll have the sidewalk going through it, and they seem very happy with that. So that was one of the reasons we fast-tracked it this fall versus the spring, was to stay in the good graces of the National Park Service and that whole park conversion thing for a long time that we don't want to see go. So
So you don't want to turn on, a Lincoln Road episode.
That's really the number one reason why we put it on. I mean, it's either going in this fall or the spring, but in order to keep the National Park Service happy, we said, let's go ahead and make it usable for cars to access. Granted, you're right, there's not a path there, but there still is usable green space, so that was kind of.
So putting a parking lot in qualifies it as a park?
Well, no, they understand that it's going to take a while for us to have every aspect of what we put in our site plan areas to be up and running. But they want to see some activity, and they're wanting to know why, and the path hasn't gone in.
People utilize that area already by walking their dogs over there and their dogs. So if they got a place to park, certainly they would utilize it more.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and I agree with you on some of these alleys, but I would say the cost of doing some of those things are gonna be a little more exorbitant than a parking lot, especially if they're dirt and mud, because you're gonna have to put some kind of base in there. So those costs are gonna be a little more exorbitant than a parking lot.
Yeah, but I'm also gauging the benefit versus the cost too. I think it's a much
agree.
better benefit, especially to the residences.
I agree, they need to be done, some of them, but I think cost-wise, we better plan it out judiciously, because they're gonna, it's, like I said, if it's a dirt alley, you're looking at laying a bed and all that stuff, so.
Well, I just personally would prefer to see them, my priority is higher on them than on the Jamestown Pike Park. The other question I had was, where do we stand on the paving issue in Grant Park? Because that's going to be a major expenditure.
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is, we obviously, we know what the problem is after we had the geotech report done, but we don't have the funds to, I mean, we could, fixing that problem, and it is a problem, would completely deplete our municipal aid fund, and there's no even guarantee that there's nothing there to cover that cost. My rough estimate is going to cost somewhere around $200,000 to $250,000 to fix that problem. Because you're not just looking at fixing the road, you've got a lot of infrastructure on the ground that's lacking, that needs to go in or fixed. So,
And some of the problem might even be permeating from the homes too.
so I've put out a plea to some of our representatives. It would have been nice if some of those $100,000 to $200,000, $300,000 monies we got 4 or 5 years ago for some of these roads was there right now, because that's what I would use it for. And that's what we've been pleading, I've been pleading to them for, but that money's just not there right now. So I understand it is a problem and a concern. We know at least the approach that we need to take to fix it, but there's not enough funds to fix it right now.
It's not going to get any easier. It's not going to get any better. Virgil's going to bend a rim here soon.
No, I know right where they're at.
You know right where they're at.
But
Is that still a
it's all
litigation
on
issue?
It may or may not be, it's gonna be, and then we're gonna let it play out and see.
That's all my questions. As I said, I prefer the alleys over Jamestown Pike Park.
Anyone else have anything on council? Is anyone in the audience that want to speak on this particular issue?
I kind of wanted to point out again that none of these are below the avenue. We don't have, I mean, other than the 400 block of Park Street, which is more industrial park than any of the residents who are hitting these potholes on a daily basis. I understand some of these things need to be done. I'd love to see work on Jamestown Park moving forward, but none of this is below the avenue. It's all are well and good, but it doesn't seem to be addressing a lot of our residents' pothole
I
problems.
think it was a matter of Rick going around and spotting these places and also working off of the list from last year, the year before, here's how they got that generated.
Yeah, without last year's in front of me, I don't know what that breakdown would look like.
And I've been driving around, not just Route 8, because Route 8 is obviously
Oh, yeah.
a bad issue, and
Yeah.
that's not the discussion. But even parts of Main Street and Kenton, they're beat up pretty bad, and they're just not recognized here.
Yeah, like I said, this is an open discussion, so if there was anything extremely pressing, this is maybe amended, so.
Generally, I think most of the streets below the avenue are in better condition than Cover. I think they're in better shape. I mean, other than 4th Street there and Route 8, I mean, that's obviously a disaster, we know that. But I think most of those streets are pretty solid.
Well, you had mentioned before, Michael, about either the water company, Northern Kentucky Water District, or SD1 was going to be doing some work on Urban Terrace.
Well, there was one project, well, yes, so the water company is scheduled in the spring to do their water main replacement, so that, it's not below the avenue, but that's something that's desperately needing to be fixed, and will be done in the spring. There is a project, the 200 block of 4th, that we had on there that we did remove. It's a project that SD1 has given us a wink and a nod that they're going to go in 50/50 on us to upsize some of the pipes, because it's an area that frequently floods. We took that off because SD1 said there's no way that they can get it turned around and approved by the board, so it's something we're just going to hopefully put on the spring. So that was one that we know is a desperate need, kind of north of the avenue, but we took that out because we have to coordinate with this, and it just wasn't going to work for them this fall.
One thing I'd like to emphasize, especially with 10th Avenue, and I see it not only in our city, in other cities, when you repave, yeah, you mill off 1.5 inches, but all of a sudden you got no curb. If they could mill it even further down along the curb lines to maintain the water flow. I mean, we had that problem up on 7th
Yeah.
last week.
Fairview is a good example of a road over the years that has just been layered. And we were able to, you can't always dig down as far as you want. There's limitations depending on what really is underneath and some of the sloping. But Fairview was a good example. We were able to go low enough to get some sort of curve, rolled curve back in there. It's not a perfect thing in the world, but it does help the story. So it's something we do try to look at.
I have that same problem in Bellevue. I mean, I drove through town Sunday after that torrential downpour, and Bellevue Avenue down in Bellevue, I was driving through 3 inches, because they did Route 8. There is no curbs to hold that water back at all.
And they filled in too close to the catch basins too.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing you gotta look at, we don't have the money that we used to have yearly, year to date. I mean, every year we have a lot less. The state used to kick in a lot more money. We're down to $100 grand a foot to try to fix all these streets.
Well, that's why I'm being so particular about this, sir.
I understand that. It's not the funding that we used to get.
Understood.
Anyone else from council like to address this issue? Anyone from the audience, one more time before we close this public hearing, would like to speak on this particular issue? All right, at this time, we'll close the public hearing. We'll open the council meeting with welcome to the August 7th, 2018 Dayton City Council meeting. Donna, roll call, please.
Mayor Brusky.
Here.
Member Bolter.
Here.
Member Burns.
Here.
Member Neary.
Here.
Member Baker.
Here.
Member Haas.
Here.
Member Lynn.
Here.
City Administrator Giffen.
Here.
City Attorney Edge.
Here.
All rise for a prayer, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, if anyone from the audience would like to speak, go up to the podium, give your name, address, and then you can speak.
Hello, Beth Lehman, 625 10th Street. I just want to let everyone know, for the last time before Saturday, we're having the Dayton, Kentucky picnic from 6 to 9 in Monument Park. Music by Moonshine and Wine. Ben suggested that band, but it's turned out like everybody knows who this band is, and it's like really exciting and popular, so I did not know that. So that was quick reco. Beer garden at the Eagles games. A table for sharing food, if anybody wants to bring to share. Bring your own chair and food. What else? Buck's Barbecue is going to have to-go food across the street. And some of them haven't got back to me, but we're kind of encouraging people to go to the local businesses and get to-go if they don't want to pack a picnic. And that's about it, I think. And so I have posters here, so if anyone has any, you still own the body shop?
Nobody gets signed.
That's not for And if anybody has a business that you could put a poster up, that would be great, and I have extras. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience would like to address council?
Laura Stanberg, 213 Lindsay, Apartment B. I addressed Ben and Joe after the Main Street meeting Wednesday about getting a light in the alley between Vine and Walnut, because it's the backside of the old high school and it is completely dark. The morning of June 11th, I had a break-in. They came through a kitchen window, the only one unlocked in my residence. It's this high. They climbed in a window this high and this wide and this deep. And my 16-year-old who is special needs went downstairs to get her medicine at 9 a.m. and found this. The door open, the window open, and come back and
Just
said,
between 8 and 9.
this is,
Between 8
yes.
and Lindsay.
Lindsay and 8, actually.
Lindsay and 8.
Yes.
Used to be
We
High
had
school was there.
wallet, mine and my husband's, our daughter's bank, which was half full, food from our freezer, and we were at home asleep. They could have come upstairs, God knows what could have happened. The 16th, between 9 and 11, the car got broke into. Before I could turn the alarm on, I guess, because I found it the next morning when I got in the car to go to church. Charger cord, sunglasses, a little cloth bag with odds and ends of like nail files and hair ties. And last Wednesday night, after I spoke to you guys, I went home and my dumpster was gone. Now, this is like getting kind of ridiculous. We have cameras that we've installed. There is only, no offense, one officer patrol during the day, none at night. Because we've been monitoring the cameras through that alley. If we don't turn on our sensor light, which, by the way, the lights that are right outside our door, not the central lights, but our outdoor lights, they got unscrewed. That's how nobody saw these people. If we turn off our lights, it's completely black back there.
We'll take a look at it.
So I just wanted to ask if maybe a light could be put, there's a phone pole like out there with a transformer. And also that maybe a sign for speed or something, because they fly through there like it's a regular street, and there's kids that play in the alley all the time. I'm constantly afraid. I won't even let my daughter ride her bike back there because I'm afraid she'll get hit. But that's beside the point. My main issue is still just about some kind of lighting.
Yeah, we should have more than one police officer during the day on though. We usually got 2, sometimes 3.
Well, when we've been looking through the footage, to see what's been recorded, and it's motion activated, so it records anything for like 30 seconds. If it doesn't catch any more movement, it'll stop. But if one officer car goes through during the day and none at night at all, so.
Yeah, there was a light there.
We really don't police alleys per se. I mean, if they're on the street, they usually don't just keep going around. Maybe that's why. There's more than one police officer on during the day, I can promise you that.
Right.
That alley used to be lit pretty well.
Yeah, no, but from school.
When school was there,
That's
I
why I
used
said
to
we
come out
gotta
of the
look at it
gym.
and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, there's no lights at all back there now. It's completely dark. I don't know if they had a chance to go through, but I told them, if you come to my house, I'll shut off the light and you can see just how dark it is.
We'll take a look at it.
Thank you.
There's a pole there.
If there's a pole there, can we add a light?
Yeah, we'll have one.
We'll
Just take a look and see what we got.
Do we make a motion to do that, or?
I'll call dude, man, if we can put a light there. If you want to make a motion, you can make a motion.
No, I'm here to make a motion, we don't
You don't
need
need
a
a
motion. We
motion.
don't need to make a motion. We just make a motion.
What I'd like to see in that alley is what we did in the 600 block behind the Baptist church. Put a couple of speed bumps in.
There were speed bumps at one time, but whoever bought the schoolhouse flats, like maybe a year after I moved in, I've been there 9 years, they had plowed the alley, I guess thinking the city wouldn't or something, and they busted up all those speed bumps that were back there.
Do they keep plowing, they still plowing the alley?
Yeah, occasionally. I mean, it's not like,
If you plow, if you plow something, you don't want these speed bumps, that tears up the equipment.
right,
So it's one of them.
but that's why there are no speed bumps now, because they busted them all up.
Is that a
with
public
their-
street or is that part of Schoolhouse Flats property?
It's an alley.
It's a public
alley. It's a public alley, but I mean, if they're maintaining it for their tenants.
Well, they have a parking lot on both sides, and there's constant traffic through the alley. So, I don't know if it's just that people are using it as a cut through to not have to go all the way to Lindsay or down to 8th or whatever, or if it's just from their parking lots, but it's constant traffic.
We'll take a look at it, if we can get a light up there, we'll get you a light on up there.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Anyone else like to address the council? Moving on. Next is the approval of the minutes from the July 17th, 2018, Dayton City Council meeting. Need a motion?
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes from the July 17th, 2018 meeting. Second.
Motion by Joe, second by Jeff Walters. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. The only other thing I need a motion to put $16,000 into a line item for travel expenses for city manager. Almost $6,000.
I'll make that motion.
Bill made a motion. Bill made a motion.
I'll second.
Second by Jeff. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
So ordered. Joe. That's all I got. Mike.
Got two things. I'll address the municipal aid thing first, since we just got talked about that. SD1 has been a good partner, at least on this issue. With these 5 catch basins that are broken, we'd like to replace them with the drain in the street instead of the curb line, so that they don't continue to get broken by mostly the garbage trucks. What I'd ask for tonight is, in order to use municipal aid money not to exceed $10,000 to fix these 5 catch basins. Doing that just as a precaution. Based on our discussions with SD1, they really only want us to furnish some of the material, the flowable fill, the concrete, and asphalt. We're estimating that's going to cost a couple $1,000s at the most. And then I'm also going to charge back CSI because they've agreed to fix at least one of those. So it may not end up costing us anything at all. But I do want to, initially it was going to cost us $10,000. So I'd like to ask for the use of the funds not to exceed $10,000 for this particular project, 5 catch basins in conjunction with SD1. Second.
Danny? Second by Austin. Any comments?
I have a question. I asked this question before the meeting, I'm going to ask it again then. Michael, when will the work begin on this? I have no faith in this. The one you do, I respect that, but we push some of these things down the road all the time. You just tell me when the work's going to begin.
They are waiting for my phone call tomorrow, so they could start as early as tomorrow.
Are these going to be the same design that keep breaking on us?
No, that's what I was explaining. The ones that are breaking have the raised lip,
Yeah.
and so if the garbage truck hits those, it collapses.
Right.
What we're doing is actually moving what you call a cheese grade drain about 6 to 8 inches off the curb line. So they can roll over the curb, and the curb should not break. They can roll over the drain, and it's flush with the street level, so it won't break. So we've been replacing, you'll see them throughout town, it's what we've been doing. When these things break, we're just going to do all 5 of these this way. So I just wanted to clarify that once you get them fixed, you shouldn't have this recurring problem, at least on these sites. We do have others that still have lips, obviously.
Understood.
But we'll address those.
Michael, could you do a follow-up with me, and anybody else wants to know that you said that with a phone call tomorrow, they can start tomorrow? That's being optimistic.
Well, the crew it's not like we're just calling the SD1 line. I mean, I've got contacts that we met with yesterday. They're the ones that are doing the work. So they wanted to start yesterday, but I didn't want to do anything until you all were comfortable with.
Could you do a follow-up with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyone else from council? Roll call.
Member Burns.
Aye.
Member Neary.
Aye.
Member Baker.
Aye.
Member Haas.
Aye.
Member Lynn.
Aye.
Sorry, got my roll call today. Member Bolter.
Aye.
I say that. So ordered. Mike.
And the last thing I have is we've got the bids in for the property that we bid out back in the spring. You all should have a packet that I sent out last week, and then I gave you a copy today just to kind of get you familiar with what we're talking about. You can see on the first, second page of the graphics, the 3 lots highlighted in yellow, and then the green property is the property owned by Mr. Rector, who's here, and I'll turn it over to him in a minute. Essentially, Mr. Rickon has purchased that lot to build a single-family home at some point in the future. He's the one that has bid on the 3 properties, so I'll turn it over to him so he can he knows obviously a lot more about what he wants to do with those lands.
Thanks a lot. My name's Tim Racton. I purchased about 3.5 acres in January. Some of the parcels that I own bought up with these 3 parcels. And my goal was, I really like what's happening in Dayton right now, some of the developments that are going on. And my wife and I would like to build a house, possibly 2 on this property, one for her stepdaughter also. And so I had an attorney contact the city to see if they're willing to sell these. They put them out to bid, I'll put a bid in on them. So I'm willing to answer any questions you have.
Is there, maybe explain to them why you want the lots that, from what I told them, may not be correct. I was assuming it was a stormwater management thing, but I don't know if that's correct.
Oh, no, I mean, I purchased the property to build a house on it. There is some stormwater issues there that I talked to SD1 on. I got a permit through planning and zoning to do fill back on that property we actually started on. They pulled out about 3 weeks ago because it's been so wet. They're not going to get back in there and do it anymore until it dries out. But, my ultimate goal is to put at least 2 homes back there. And, I'm talking maybe $300,000 houses. And, but I'd like to, my goal was, it's kind of in the woods, and I'd like to keep it that way. I don't want to build a house there if I'm going to have other houses built right next to me. And with these parcels there, if I can get those, it'd help my market.
I guess my question to you, sir, is if I got my bearings right, Edwards, when you want to take, there's houses on Edwards right now, right? Is that what you do?
No, sir, on Edwards there aren't any. Are you familiar with the Von Broken Park that was back there in the old incinerator?
I helped build that Von Broken Park years ago.
That blacktop road that goes back, there's no homes back there at all.
Okay.
But on 10th Street there are homes.
Okay, so you want to take 10th Street down to Von Broken Park. I guess my only question is, and I've heard some drainage problems, are you going to have to put any retaining walls or anything for down there? I'm not in construction, so I'm worried about runoff down there. That's the other thing.
Right. If I build a house up there, I definitely would have, because it's a hill.
Right.
I would have retaining walls. I'd like to have a flat area to rent the house on.
Right.
And I'm probably 5 years away from building a house there.
The reason I ask is because right off of 10th Street, I don't know what that street it goes up where they got the one house sitting on the corner now. They took all the vegetation on the hillside, it's going over to the flood wall, or going up to the football field. You know where I'm talking about. I just don't like to see all the vegetation taken off and then all of a sudden we got all the rain and stuff coming down. And that's my biggest concern, because where you're talking about Von Broken Park, that was the old city dump, and there's not a whole lot of holding that hillside back now. That's my concern.
Right. Where I'm talking about putting the house is right when you turn, you go back 10th Street and turn left onto Edwards, on that hillside right there, directly above where the football field is.
So your entrance would be off 10th Street or?
Yes, sir. Off 10th Street.
Gotcha.
But the lots that you want on Silver, how does that tie into?
I own all the lots all the way from the end of 10th Street all the way down. To the house is built on the stilts. You know where the house is built on stilts from that corner all the way down.
Gotcha. So it's just
It's the property that I
has nothing to do with stormwater, it's just you want to own that property around it. Is that the intention?
Correct. I had contacted the city attorney about Silver Street is a paper street that connects to it also. That's where the stormwater comes down. And when I talked to SD1, I'm not allowed to tie into that storm sewer and get the water away unless I own the property. And the city doesn't have the funds to do it. And so I had talked to him about possibly seeing if they would be willing to vacate that paper street so I could actually do it right and get it tied into the storm sewer. And I would pay for that if I could get that. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with these 3.
Just for the record, you had inquired about it, but of course, it's not something I'm probably do because there's.
Right.
And I haven't even done anything with it. He just told me the process, what I would have to do. And that would be something I would be willing to do just to get rid of that stormwater problem. But the house I'm talking about where I'm building would be before you'd even get back to that part.
Gotcha.
Who owns this property in green here, Michael?
He does.
He owns all that property, plus he owns 10, actually, I think that's 1015 or 1029.
So this property where the incinerator was at the head of the football field, you own?
Correct.
Yeah, he owns that too. That's why he's talking.
That's where he wants to put his residence, potentially.
PVA today listed one of those properties there, I forget which one it was, 1025 maybe, or 1029, it was actually owned by a lady in Cold Spring or Fort Thomas? You're in Cold Spring?
No, I'm at Fort Thomas. There is somebody that has 2 parcels.
Yeah.
It back there. I believe the last name's Neltner.
Yes.
I was contacted by a friend of his saying he was willing to sell that to me. I haven't talked to him. But they have two parcels there.
Okay.
I've got all the rest of it.
I didn't know how-
I got it all except for those 2 parcels.
I didn't know how up to date the PVA was. So the rest of my council members here, I went through the PVA today on these particular lots, okay? And I know they're city-owned lots, so there's not much value to them, and they're on a hillside, so there's not too much value to them. And the 2 lots in particular are very narrow, and one is landlocked. 327 is on the books at $5,000, 325 is on the books at $5,000, and the one on Edwards, the single lot there that's landlocked is valued at $2,730, which gives $12,730. Mr. Recton's bid is for $6,000. So for those 3 properties, I just wanted to point that out to council.
I thought it was 5,000.
It's 5,000.
It's 5,000.
It's 5,000?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got lousy math tonight, 5,000 versus 12,730 on the books. Granted, they will become private property and tax-paying property, but I just wanted to point that difference in value out there.
Take about the bid, right?
Yeah.
Did we receive any other bids?
It is very steep property, you know. My concern is I don't want to build a $300,000 home and have somebody go build something not of a whole lot of value on these other lots at some point. Now, I'm not saying if I don't get these lots, I'm not going to build the house, because I'm planning on building the house. I would like to be able to get these if at all possible.
Just to piggyback off what you just said, Joe, I mean, you emphasize the difference of what he's offering and what's on the books for, but the ship was talking about building 1 or 2 houses, estimated $250,000 to $300,000. I think we make our money back within 5 years, so I said that, I think that's a good point.
Well, there's the area that I'm filling in is, it's going to be a major improvement for us back there. I mean, I want to live in an area that, I love the woods being there, I love the wildlife. I want, it's going to be nice when I'm finished.
You got wildlife there.
I live in a beautiful home right now, and our plans are to downsize, and I've always wanted to have a house built. And I ran into this piece of property, and it was a unique piece of property, and that's kind of my plan.
Thank you, Mr. Rich.
I make a motion to accept the bids by Mr. Rector for 325 Silver Street, 327 Silver Street, and Edwards Avenue as presented.
Second.
Motion by Jeff Walter, second by Phil Burns. Any comments? Sounds like we've already had a lot of comments, so give me a roll call, Tom.
Member Neary?
Aye.
Member Baker?
Aye.
Member Haas?
Aye.
Member Lynn?
Aye.
Member Volter?
Aye.
Member Burns?
Aye.
So ordered.
Thank you very much, I really appreciate it.
Last thing, Mayor, real quick, Council, you know, more for the public, in case you haven't heard, we do have our code of ordinances online in an interactive format, so previously it was just a PDF. We have gone online with that, it's linked to the website, so anytime you need to find something, you can easily search it. And it'll be continuously updated by American Legal Publishing, so that's not a lot.
All right, City Attorney.
Nothing to report.
All right. Department heads, Dave.
I haven't had anything, just the reports that you guys received. And as you see, the numbers we're at you guys get every month. I just want to give kudos to the guys for all their hard work and dedication. We even had an officer out in the monsoon that we had on, was that Friday? Didn't give up on the traffic stop, stayed with it, and got a good arrest out of it. Got soaked in bone, but he stuck with it, so good work ethic, and great job.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you. Chief Atkins.
You guys got my report. I do want to add a couple of things. We've made job offers to 3 people, so we got tentative approval agreements, so pending physicals and the other thing that might happen, we'll have 3 guys starting in the next couple of weeks. Also, last Thursday, we participated in the active shooter drill in Newport. The Newport Fire Department invited us to participate. But the reality is that there is ever a shooter in the schools, and you're around, we're all going to be involved. And so the on-duty crew and myself were there, and it actually went very well. We're having the first time an active drill. So it was us, Newport, Fort Thomas, Covington. So in the event that is something ever happens, God forbid, that we are at least trying to be on top of it and be proactive as opposed to reactive. Other than that, I really don't have anything else.
Thank you, sir.
Pumper's in service, the new pumper?
Sir?
Is the new pumper fully in service?
Yes. Yep. So it's there, and they're coming next week just to do a little touch up, a couple things, and then the actual ladder truck will go away. We'll do some stuff, just some yearly maintenance needs to be done. A couple things we found, but nothing big.
Thank you. Don?
Everybody should have received a copy of the financials, and we did get the new tax roll from the PVA, so I'm sure that Michael will be working with the AED to get, the tax rates for the next council. Yes.
Bob?
We had our Main Street meeting, again, as Beth talked about the picnic, down at the War Memorial, that's going on. I-8 in Dayton is still going on, we just got some new cards in, and I went out and distributed them to some of the restaurants today, right before the rain, when I was at Bucks walking back and the rain came down today. Just refreshing, so that's moving forward. We've got some CCAP applications that Michael and I are going over. I got one 620 I know about, but Smitty's got that today for Avenue Pharmacy. Has purchased that when we moved there in, and they just dropped off their site plans. So we'll have a board of architectural review meeting next Tuesday to go over that and start going through their CCAP and what they're going through there. So we're going to have 2 projects that are moving quickly. 301 we'll also be discussing at the Board of Architectural Review. They had submitted their plans, the Board of Architectural Review came back and made some suggestions and resubmitted them, so that should probably get its COA on Tuesday, so that's moving forward. Things are going good. Still time to, at least another month to get your I-8 cards all filled out. Mine is all filled up. We've done all 8. I think I was the first one done, so I've heard some other people are getting close, but I mean, the average reaper. So, any questions?
Bob, the one where the Avenue Pharmacy is going to go, space. Isn't there an empty lot back of that? Are they going to turn that into a parking lot or what?
They may, but not right now.
I think that would be great. I mean,
they know it's there. They know.
Okay.
They're all their plans. I'll be honest with you. The plans that they submitted were to take care of the outside facade issues and put in the pharmacy on the first floor. They may come back later. We discussed with them about putting apartments and what a quality apartment doesn't bring down in the city of Dayton. So, baby steps.
Okay.
My answer to that is I think we'll see continual improvement over the next few years. But right now, their first priority is to get the outside facade cleaned up and get the pharmacy in there.
I mean, they had a large parking lot where they was at. I'm just thinking about for when their customers coming in.
It's right now, I think street parking along Walnut will be fine. they do have some concerns about where they're gonna park. But we're working with them on that. So the answer I can say right now is, right now they're focused on getting everything open and take each step at a time.
Very good.
Anybody else?
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Phil?
Mayor, Council, good evening. For July, you'll receive my report, just a summary. Closed out 59 cases in July. Of the letters, there were actually 118 letters written for July. 75 of them were notice of violations, 33 were citations, and 10 of those were grass cutting invoices. I issued 8 parking tags, resulting in 11 charges, and 6 vehicles were towed. Just a little bit on what we're doing. I have been reaching out a lot more to houses in the city that are HUD owned, that they sit on and basically do nothing with. So we're issuing them citations and violations, and we just received 4 today for vacant properties. So we are hitting them a little bit harder than I think they had been hit before I got here. So we're working on them as well. Any questions?
I got one comment. This lady right here was talking about a light in the alleyway. I happened to go through that alley one day last week, and the wall at the end of Vine Street that the Schoolhouse Flats owns, it's all broke down, and half of those laying into the alley and half of those laying up in their property. So if you could check that out, I'd appreciate it.
I'll look into that.
Anyone else have questions for Phil?
We have, and I'm sure it just slipped Bob's mind, September 30th, we're going to have Beyond the Curb coming into Dayton again. That's a Sunday. And that's basically they'll bring in 400, 500, 600 people doing house tours. We have some residents set up already. The properties that they've chosen are primarily on 6th Avenue, up to about Berry Street. But it's really a chance for people will be going through the whole city as they're driving around. So if we could put a push on outside appearance over the next month, we've only got, 8 weeks left until that hits, and we want to make sure that everything looks as good as it can.
I agree. That's what I'm doing.
I know you're doing that all the time. I'm just saying there's a special sense of urgency.
The only unfortunate thing with that is, for that, the push almost has to become personal. So where I'm actually going up there and knocking, because unfortunately, when I send these things out, there's a turnaround, and I even get calls from people that think that's nothing is going on. When I've issued 3 violations, 3 citations, and unfortunately, people think that we're not doing anything, and we're actively pursuing and going after these homeowners and/or landlords that are more concerned about their rent than the appearance of the property.
But if there are any vacant properties that you're working with, you may want to suggest to them to list it with the realtor, because there'll be 400, 500, 600 people coming through town that day, and even if they're in bad shape, you have flippers coming, you rehabbers coming through town.
I totally agree, and I think that's a good point, and since you brought that up, I think one of the things that we might consider amending as we get further on sometime in the future here on the vacant property registration, we ask somebody to put their property, you have to put your property up, and the loophole around that is they put a for sale sign in their window, and now the property's for sale. And when you have a for sale sign there, it's a play on words. If there's no phone number, no contact, it's just a for sale sign.
Should be listed with the realtor.
I agree, but
If you find one, Bill, that just has a for sale sign, but doesn't have a phone number, or it doesn't look like it's actively for sale, I think the ordinance is pretty clear that, there's got to be some activity of trying to sell it, just putting the sign up isn't sufficient. As it reads right now, I think the way it reads, there's some activity that's got to go along. There's got to be some genuine effort. Otherwise, it's just a shambles.
right.
It's a guy that has an insurance card, but obviously doesn't have insurance, trying to get by the traffic ticket.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Donna, any correspondence? Anyone from council have any petitions? Any unfinished business?
Where are we on the comprehensive plan public meeting, Michael?
I don't have an answer for that. I reached out to the Ag District last week, and again this week I haven't heard a response. I was asking when the next meeting was, so I'll try to get that out to you all.
So that is still the next step, I presume?
Yeah, there needs to be one more committee meeting before we do the public hearing. I think we're going to shoot for the public hearing sometime in late August or September, November, so you're correct.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
So I just haven't heard anything back, so I didn't have anything set in stone. As soon as I do something back, I'll shoot out an email. I'll put it on my report.
Okay.
We'll get that.
And I guess you could call this unfinished. I brought this up before. And of course, we had another 100-year rain on Saturday afternoon. I had my windows down in my car. The 7th Street, the 1,000 and 1,100 block. We did some curb work up there, further up the block. Miss Kelly, I think you could attest to this, did a great job keeping the water off of those properties. But closer to that street, you can call it a street, that access road that goes down behind 6th and over to Benham, we still have the same issue where there's no curb there. We still have the same issue where the sewer grate has not been replaced with one of these cheese grater types, which would have caught the water. There was a major river flowing down that alley and right through someone's yard and house that's down on 6th. That road is impassable. I don't even think you can get the Hummer through there now. The ruts are so deep. We really need to get a curb, even if it's only a 2 or 3 inch curb across that opening. We need to repair that alleyway, that access road for emergencies. That's there in case the trains are blocking the traffic. And we need to get one of those cheese grater storm drain covers right there before that alley to catch as much water as possible. Those poor people down on 6th Street have been living with that for years, and that's where it's coming from. Even with that light rain the other day, I was up there and you could see it running down there. So if we can get that somehow on to Public Works, I know it's not part of the paving program, but and I don't know how much more expensive those cheese grater ones are, but they do a great job. If you look at the 2 on Urban Terrace, the one up at the top's flat, it goes right over it. The one down by 10th grabs almost all the water going over it.
But yeah, it's not as simple as just putting in the array, because
Might not be the same
You have
size.
to put in a different, that's why you got so expensive, dude. For those 5, initially it's 25,000, so about $5 grand pop.
I wonder if you can get them the same size. Just so you just take out the flat one and replace it with one of those.
The reason that we're delayed in fixing these 5 is that Rick would have to explain exactly how it worked, but we have been really fighting with SD1 to get the size catch basins that they had, and I think they were even having trouble getting those particular sizes. So there's like a change in, I guess, the model or what they're putting in. So
Yeah, I'm not talking about the catch basin underneath the surface. I'm talking about just the grate that sits
right,
on
but
the
that's why
surface.
we take them off the street. They're not just replacing the top grade, they're putting in a whole new something underground, catch basin support underground.
As those things come off, that's how they clean out their catch basins.
That's what they're doing. They're putting in a totally new catch basin. Those cheese grates, as you see, that's just the top part of it. They're putting a whole new retention area underneath. That's why they're off the curb line.
I mean, it
That's
may
why
be a
it's so
cheaper
expensive.
solution to just get the plate on the top and see how that works. You might not
I'll
need
go
a
look
bigger
at it. I'm not
chip.
as familiar with what's up there on 7th. So we'll go look at it and see what
So that
cheaper
was,
solution maybe you could do to accomplish the same thing.
we got to do something for those people on 6th.
We'll look at it tomorrow. We're gonna look at that, and we're gonna look at that light tomorrow, and a few other things.
All right.
Anything else?
For me?
You, or anyone else, the council's usually you.
Mayor, I got a question for Mike. We're into new business.
No, we're still under
Okay.
unfinished business.
Okay.
Anyone else under unfinished business? Okay, any new business?
Michael, today when I was up watching, looking at the pole that got knocked down on Dayton Pike, I happened to drive up O'Fallon over to Lincoln and down Dayton Pike, the sign that welcomes everybody to Dayton, right past New Ridge, you know, up there by Rose Drive. The sign is starting to look a little bad, but the mulch and everything around the sign is horrendous. I don't know if the city workers can do that or what, but we need to look at that. And while you're at doing that one, please do the one on the avenue. As Joe said, we got people coming in for beyond the curb. We've got the 1 and 8 sign and going on in Dayton. So we've got a lot of great things going on in Dayton. I think those 2 signs are key for selling point for our city. So if you could get the mulch up there fixed and the one down on the avenue fixed, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Let me jump in real quick. I should have done this on the article. We do have a municipal order that I can read. So the property is going to change hands, but we do need to actually officially declare surplus property. I don't know if you want to read it, just want me to read it.
Volunteered.
You know what the number would be? What's the number is 2018 dash?
Oh, let me look, hold on just 1 second. Let me see if I think I can tell by the minutes here. Yeah, 1 minute. It's going to be 10R.
City of Dayton, Kentucky Municipal Order number 2018-10R, a municipal order declaring city-owned real property as surplus and authorizing the city manager to sell or dispose of said real property commonly located at 325 Silver Street, 327 Silver Street, and an unnumbered address on Edwards Avenue. Need a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion that we approve municipal order number 2018-10R.
Motion by Ben,
Second.
second by Bill. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Member Baker?
Here.
Member Ross?
Aye.
Member Lynn?
Aye.
Member Holter?
Aye.
Member Burns?
Aye.
Member Neary?
So ordered.
Yes.
Any other new business?
With Bill's point about the signs, the trash cans through town, we use some paint on some of them. I know it's Bellevue went ahead and did theirs not so long ago, they look pretty sharp. I know they're powder coated, so it's not too easy, but some of them are in bad shape.
You can't repowder, but if you get paint.
Understood, but there's got to be a thing to do. And do you have any update on the Tapestry project?
They are set to close August 15th or 16th, I forget the date. That's what's on the schedule.
So we have to buy like golden shovels for a groundbreaking here and helmets and all?
I think that seems appropriate.
Something like that?
They, I haven't gotten notification, I think they're just waiting on the official paperwork to come back from the state IRB, I think that's it. But yeah, they said August 15th or 16th, one of those dates is delayed. I've heard it since March, we'll see.
And I did see where they're already starting on the second floor down at the gateway, which is great to see that they're making that kind of progress. What is their target date to have that enclosed and start renting? I mean, start advertising it?
I'll ask them the next time, if they're coming, in fact, we've got a meeting on Friday. I'll ask them. I would think late spring 2019 at best.
When you're talking to them Friday, in combination with Beyond the Curve, these kind of developers that are coming in Red Knot,
Well, yeah,
really need to advertise that this is not here yet, but it is coming.
Yeah, I talked to them about sprucing up the fencing that they got up along the flood wall path and rehanging or redoing some of their nice signage that they have. Because some of the fencing I saw the other day is falling down.
Like it's pretty windy up there.
Yeah, I'll ask. I'm assuming late spring next year.
I mean, this is a great opportunity to really show off the city, and it's extra. Catalytic Fund's spending a lot of money on marketing, they might as well leverage that.
And there should be we got a call from a local magazine. They're doing 2 feature articles on Manhattan Harbor in the next week or 2. So there is a lot of good buzz going around about it. The Tapestry is going to be a huge catalyst.
Anyone else have any new business?
We are bidding out the construction of Riverfront Commons this week. It publicizes. That's what And bids are due at the end of the month, so we'll bring that to you all in September, hopefully with some good construction bids. We'll probably start this year. The estimated completion of phase 1 construction is spring 2019. That's exciting.
Anyone else? All right, we're going to executive session.
Pursuant to KRS 61815, notice is given that a closed session shall be conducted after motion and majority vote to discuss acquisition of property within the city for use by the city. Closed session is being held as allowed under KRS 61.81. 1, subsection 1, subsection B, which allows closed sessions for the deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency, but only when publicity would likely to affect the value of the specific piece of property to be acquired for public use or sold by the public agency. There's going to be no final action will be taken at the closed session. I would ask for a motion to enter the closed session on the aforementioned basis.
Get a motion to go to the executive session. Motion by Jeff, second by Danny. All in favor? Aye. We're in executive session. We need a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Joe, second by Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Open the doors to allow the public back in, and raise any public that desires to come in.
At this time, I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.